Welcome to Grow Getters with host Davis Michelson, who's looking for and discovering agriculture's most inventive side hustles. We'll meet resourceful and innovative entrepreneurs who share how they make extra money moonlighting to keep their farms and families going strong. From starting new businesses to tapping into new technologies, these Grow Getters are redefining what it means to be a farmer.
Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Grow Getters. Today, I'm going to talk with a farmer from Ohio who is showcasing everyday life on the farm on social media. One of the other things I'm kind of thinking about is tipping points. You know, there are certain points in our lives when we have an idea, and from there, it can kind of go one of two ways. One, it can sort of just go away like it never existed. The other way is for it to come to life and to produce something. Our guest today has found an interesting way of integrating her normal life into a way to showcase what goes on the farm. It's very exciting. Social media, it's a big thing. I'm really looking forward to our guest today. But first, you know, we got a couple shows behind us here on Grow Getters. I hope you've had a chance to watch those. And the mail has started coming in. So I thought today we would start the show by opening the Grow Getters mailbag, if you're into it. No, not that one. No, that one's a bill. Okay. Ooh, no, why would I even? Oh, this is the one. Okay, here we go. A viewer writes, "Dear Grow Getters, I've really been enjoying your YouTube videos. In fact, I wrote you a haiku. It goes like this. He's super handsome. That guy with the piano. Drink your milk today." Hey, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. It goes on. "I'm not very good at rhymes, but I did smash the like button and subscribed so I don't miss a single episode. Kind regards, an enthusiastic viewer." Fantastic. I hope that you will also smash the like button and tell your friends too. We've got more Grow Getters coming up. With that, why don't we bring in our guest today, Zoe Kent from Kent Farms in Ohio. And the Farm with Zoe, is podcast the right word? Zoe Kent, welcome. I'm not sure what the proper terminology is here, so would you just sort of acquaint us with what you do?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what I do exactly. Some call it farm-fluencing. Some people just say they're content creators. I don't know. I'm just a girl who started posting videos online a couple of years ago, and I'm just showing people what's going on the farm.
I love that.
I'm on all of the social media apps, and then I do have a podcast as well. That's with my sister, but it is not ag-based. So If you want to kind of get to know me outside of farming, that's where to find kind of my non-farming related things.
Yeah, it seems like there are an awful lot of made up words. You know, they'll take sort of, what did you say? Farm-fluencer?
Farm-fluencer. I'm not sure if that's a real word or not, but
I'm not sure either. Now, I know we'll get into your college years, but you're a college educated woman. How do you feel about that?
You know, I don't, and for some reason I started on TikTok, and
okay,
a lot of people, when they see me, they're like, "Oh, you're the girl from TikTok." And for some reason, I'm like, "Oh no, TikTok's for like the younger kids." I'm 29. I'm almost in my 30s, and
yeah.
I don't know, when people call me a TikToker, I'm like, I don't know about that.
Okay. So how would you describe yourself? Would you call yourself an influencer then?
I guess technically, if I'm filling out my tax documents, I'm definitely first and foremost a farmer. And then this has blossomed into a whole other side gig, but but people can call me whatever they want, as long as it's nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So I have it here in my notes. You're the 8th generation. The farm started in 1820. Is that right?
Yes. We moved to this town and we never left. I'm the 6th generation where I live, and then where my parents live, I'm the 8th on that ground. So
no kidding.
We've been here a long time doing this. It's been really, really fun and exciting. And then I bought my dad out of our operation 3 years ago. So I had my first year, we had a great crop. We had great prices. The second year, it humbled me. It humbled me a lot. And now we're kind of venturing into that third year. We just got our crops in the ground last week, and
oh, good.
So
that's excellent.
We're
Excellent.
rolling.
I was thinking about the year 1820. I went ahead and looked up some historical facts. That's 204 years. That's Colonel Robert Gibbon Johnson proves that tomatoes are not poisonous by eating one in public on September 28, 1820. We can only assume he didn't die. I mean, that was the whole thing. I'm not a tomato guy myself. Pretty sure they are poisonous. A Russian expedition discovered Antarctica in 1820. Darwin's HMS Beagle launched its famous or infamous scientific voyage. And just one more here. Oh, I don't know why this came up in the list, but the first potatoes were planted in Hawaii in the year 1820. I know nothing about the Hawaiian potato crop. Tell me about your farm. What do you grow? What do you do? What keeps you busy when you're not online?
Yeah. So our farm, as of right now, we are just corn and soybeans. I've done wheat. We've done hay. Currently, we have sheep on pasture. They're not ours. We rented that farm out, but I feel as though I need to be learning about sheep. But just mostly corn and soybeans. We're not a huge operation. I have one year-round employee, JD, who helps me out. And then when I'm not farming, I'm doing the social media thing. My sister and my brother both live in different states, so I'm traveling to see them. And I coach cheerleading, so I stay busy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We had sheep. We ran about 300 ewes when I was a kid, and they just made me nuts. To me, my big takeaway with sheep is one of the most useful skills is learning how to pull their head out of a fence when they've stuck it through and can't get it back out. Just a pro tip there a little bit. Sheep, they'll make you crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You attended the Ohio State University. You were a cheerleader as well. I want to get into that, but let's see if your blood still runs red for Ohio State. Are you ready? A little musical selection. Farm with Zoe. Zoe, farm on. Farm with Zoe. Zoe, farm on. Very nice. A little taste of the Ohio State University for you. Now, my daughter was way into cheerleading in high school in Iowa. And actually, she had hoped one day to go on and do some coaching and some things like that. She did competitive cheer with all of the throwing people in the air and all that stuff. Talk to me about being a cheerleader at Ohio State. That sounds like quite the experience.
Yeah, it was a huge shock for me going from small town. At my age, competition cheer was really only a thing that was in the larger cities. So I didn't participate in it. And so when I got to Ohio State, that's when I learned stunting. And there was really a whole bunch of kids at that next level. And it's also a huge shock from me feeling I'm 5'2". I usually feel like I'm on the shorter side of things. And once I made that team, I was a giant. I think I was the second or third tallest girl on the team. And so I got used to like looking down at people, which was very odd.
Wow. Yeah.
But it was a great experience. I got to do a lot of really cool things.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good for you. That's really cool. We've talked about your social media just a little bit. We've clearly established your farm girl street cred. I don't know if there's a better term for that street cred. I mean, gravel road cred. I don't know. No, I don't think so. So we got the street cred fully established. What are you trying to accomplish with these podcasts or with these posts? I guess we'll call them. What is a successful post for you?
Yeah, so the goal is to show people what agriculture is like today. Just really connecting with the consumer and also connecting with other farmers. When I came back to the farm in 2017, I was with the people working at the farm were 50 years and older in age. And so there was a large disconnect from kind of the guys that were getting towards the retirement and me, who I was like trying to do new things, trying to like get my footing, trying to learn as I went. And I found connection online. And specifically too with a lot of women in ag, which was great because I know there are a lot of women out there, but personally in my community, there aren't a ton working day to day on the farm. So connecting with other farmers, and then I try to keep my videos family friendly, light, educational, but with enough humor to keep people interested, not too boring, learn a little tidbit here and there.
Sure. Well, that's terrific. Now I opened the show talking about tipping points, and I'm really curious about, because this isn't necessarily a this or that kind of a thing with you. What you've done is incorporated the stuff that you were already doing into a new sort of venture thing, and you've got tons and tons of subscribers, followers, all of that sort of stuff. So I'm wondering, can you identify a moment, maybe a conversation, something that happened that was the tipping point for you? Like, oh, well, suddenly now I'm just going to do farm with Zoe, and this is just what my life is now.
Yeah, it was the first time that a company reached out to me to do a brand deal. It actually was a DM from a person that was just like their own personal name, and they're like, hey, I promise I'm legit. I'm just trying to get a hold of you, because at that time I didn't have an email set up, and so basically people, if they wanted to work with me, they had to DM me. I clued myself into getting my email on all my sites, but it was just a DM that was like, hey, do you want to do this post for, I think it was like $700? And I was like, 700? Yes, yes, I will. Yes, I will. And so that's when, I think that was about 6 months into posting, that I really saw that first ad come in. And then I really realized, okay, there is some money to be made here. And when I started, I'm not a person that like half does something. If I decide I'm going to do something, I fully commit. And I told myself when I started, I'm going to post one video every single day until I can't think of anything to post anymore. And I have backed that down every once in a while. I'll take a day or two off here or there, but I fully committed.
Did you count how many consecutive ones you did before you just had to take a day off?
I think it was at least a year and a half. I do think I took off Christmas.
Okay. I can get behind that. Yeah.
Yeah, but
very cool. Well, you mentioned your dad. You bought the farm from your dad 3 years ago. I would imagine he's still a pretty big part of the operation. I mean, what a knowledge base to have with you as a young farmer. I understand he's there with you.
Yes.
Is there any chance, could we convince him to join us just for a second? I'd love to talk to the both of you.
Yeah, he's really the exclusive guest here. Not too many people get him, and he does turn down a lot of things. But
all right.
When I said that Tyne Morgan said that it'd be good to get Dad in here, he perked up. He's a real fan.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Mr. Kent, thanks for taking some time to be here with us today. Before we proceed, maybe this is a good time to just do this. I like to offer my guests sort of a musical selection, an ode, with each show. And so before we begin the conversation with y'all two, let me treat you with Farm with Zoe, the ode. Farm with Zoe in the digital age. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and a Facebook page. Farm with Zoe from your virtual tractor cab. Tractor not included. Corn and combine, some other farm stuff. This Crawford County farm gal talks about it with love. Farm with Zoe on the Grow Getters Show. All right, Mr. Kent, we appreciate you being here, spending some time with us. This is going to air, I think, just shortly after Father's Day, just a couple days after Father's Day.
I was impressed.
Well, thank you very much. I want to talk to you because I'm assuming that at some point there was a moment, just as you handed the keys over to Zoe, at one point, a young Mr. Kent was handed the keys. Would you talk about the importance of succession and multi-generational? And I mean, for you to be willing to hand off the farm to Zoe at her age, so where you're, around to help her out and things, it's absolutely extraordinary. And eight generations. I mean, I guess that's how you keep that going, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my dad, he retired at 62, and which gave me an earlier chance. Some farmers tend to not retire ever, but it gave me a big boost after he retired, and gave me the reins, and I was able to grow and expand pretty well after that.
So if he was, did you say 62 at that point?
Yeah, he
And
was 62 when
okay.
he
And how old were
retired.
you by then?
I was 32.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
And I imagine you've been farming alongside him since you were old enough to do it, right?
yeah.
Dangerously young.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I guess I'm kind of curious talking about succession, because I would imagine, Zoe, that's important for you to keep that going as well. When you look at preparing for the next generation and the next and next, farming has certainly changed. Certainly since Mr. Kent, you took the reins of the farm. It's certainly changed since 1820. Zoe, if you're talking about farming for 30, 40 years, maybe before you pass this thing on to the next generation, I'm wondering, Mr. Kent, Zoe, do any of you have any thoughts on what farming might look like at that point? I'm having a hard time conceiving it.
It's moving fast. It's really going fast. I can remember my dad. He was thankful that they had just gotten away from the horses and tractors.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, and that was his generation, my generation. Yeah, I don't know. Sky's the limit. I don't know how much bigger this equipment can get.
Yeah.
Some of these drones, bigger drones,
Mhm.
for average smaller farms are going to get to where it doesn't matter the ground conditions, they can fly.
Mhm.
Uh,
We've been thinking about that a lot with this really wet spring.
Oh, I bet.
We
Yeah.
want to get some field sprayed, and they just aren't fit. You're going to cut ruts, but a good sized drone sprayer that can spray like 20 feet even
Mhm.
wide.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these autonomous tractors just, yeah, it's sky's the limit.
Well, and you think about how many draft horses you'd need to cultivate 12 rows. I mean, forget about 24,
Yeah.
forget about bigger rows like that. Zoe, I'm curious, coming from your perspective, how much, and maybe you haven't yet, and that's all right. But as you're thinking to the future, I understand the cheerleader's enthusiasm. I really do. Uh, are you thinking of ideas? Do you get ideas every once in a while? Like, I wonder if one day we could do something like this. I mean, what do you think about when you think about the future of Kent Farms?
Yeah, for sure. And just naturally, like we're in an area that's pretty competitive, and it's like, okay, so if you can't grow acres, what do you do to make things a little bit more diverse? And the social media has definitely been kind of one of those things. Now, I wouldn't say I'd ever bet on social media as a career path, because we just have no idea what that's going to be like down the road,
Sure.
how it'll change and grow. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of different specialty products you could get into, the agritourism of it all. I think there's a lot of potential. But I think we may have to get creative in the ways that we kind of diversify our operations.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. And you familiarizing yourself and being comfortable the way that you are in the digital realm, I think is gonna put you miles ahead of other folks who maybe aren't. Zoe Kent from Farm with Zoe, how do we find you on social?
Yes, on every platform, just Farm with Zoe. Farm with Zoe Kent on YouTube. For some reason, I couldn't just get the Farm with Zoe. I thought it was unique enough, but
Yeah.
apparently not. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm on everywhere. Zoe is just Zoe.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I've taken up just about enough of y'all's time. I wonder, Zoe, if you might have just some thoughts, if you could talk to people who are like, well, that sounds pretty interesting. I might go check that out. Give us the elevator speech. Give us the pitch on Farm with Zoe.
Yeah, we try to keep it entertaining around here. Honestly, all of my best videos are the one where Dad tags along in them. But if you like farming, you want to see what I'm messing up on my farm, check me out. I'm pretty transparent with what we're doing here. I show a lot of my cards. If that's smart or not, I don't really know, but I show the highs and the lows. So if you're having a challenging spring like me, you can look and say, okay, well, I know she mudded in a whole bunch of beans. Maybe it's fine if I do the same.
Right. Well, very good. With that, I think I'll cut you loose. Mr. Kent, thank you so much for spending some time with us. You've got a very lovely daughter there who's really got a good head on her shoulders and's got something happening there, keeping the farm going. And I'm sure that makes you very proud, sir.
Thank you.
And Zoe Kent, we'll look for you on social. Maybe one day you would come back and visit us again on Grow Getters.
Sounds good. Yeah. If you keep singing those songs for me, I'll come back anytime.
I would shut it off if I could. It just won't stop. It won't stop. Zoe Kent, Farm with Zoe. Thank you for being with us today on Grow Getters.
Thank you.
Production support provided by Jack Heffron, Zach Zingula, and Matt Morriman. Find Grow Getters on Farm Journal's YouTube channel and listen to it wherever you find your favorite podcasts. So for Farm Journal Studios, I'm your pal, Davis Michelson. Have a great day, everybody, and let's grow get 'em.
Grow Getters is a production of Farm Journal Studios, where no one grows alone.